What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Everything Paranormal Show. Yes, we're a half hour late tonight. I apologize, but I'm your host, Josh Morris, and joining me is my co-host, Stacy Talich. Stacy, how you doing tonight?
Doing good, doing good. Weather's
Good.
chilly down here. Probably not as cold as it is up there, but it got down to 33 degrees last night. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's 42 right now, and I think it was up in we were maybe in the early 50s today. Maybe I can't remember. It was okay. I had a hoodie, so still in that kind of hoodie, not real heavy jacket type of territory yet. So, all right, tonight we're going to be doing contacting some spirits using probably mainly the dowsing rods. I'm not sure if we're going to use anything else tonight, but we are going to try to do some contacting and see what we can find out. Now, I do want to get into something first, which is just want to give a shout out to everybody watching. Again, watch to the end. We have a lot of things that we cover throughout the show. So if you're watching this on replay later, watch to the end. We have a lot of awesome things lined up ahead. Okay. And also like, share, and subscribe. Please, guys, if you like what we do here, we're going to be out doing more stuff out in the field, at least myself. And we've got some other awesome things planned. So like, share, and subscribe, guys. Keep you guys have been a great crew out there building up our channel. So, okay. Here's the story. So one, we have a ghost in our house right now. And it's not new. So I've talked about this before in our past shows. But in our house, we're kind of like a stop on a stagecoach route, right? Like back in the day. Ghosts seem to travel along this way, and we're like that light in the darkness, and we're like that stop on a trail or something. So they tend to gravitate. And so every so often we get a ghost in the house. We typically don't tend to bring them in, but sometimes you go out in public, you never know what you're going to bring home. You're not always going to cleanse yourself every single time that you come in the home. And anyways, I don't want to get into all that, but bottom line is we have our bedrooms fairly well protected with crystals and, things are part of our living room. So typically when we do get spirits, they like to hang out in our hallway area. And maybe even like the steps, like at the end of the hallway where it kind of goes down to the front door, not quite into the living room. So that's kind of the general area that they tend to show up. So the other day we had a ghost show up, and the way it kind of evolved in our house was that I was sitting on the bed, and this is like I'm fully clothed. It wasn't one of those like I was in bed trying to sleep. I was just sitting on the bed. My wife, Terry Lynn, she was downstairs in the crafting room working on some spirit boards. And I was just sitting there. I just wanted to kind of finish up one of my stupid mobile games. So I was like trying to finish up with some of my bonuses or whatever. So I'm just sitting on the bed, and my son is I think playing video games or something in his room. Well, my door was open, but I swear I thought I heard Terry Lynn say something like, I don't know if she called our son's name or something, but I could have swore I heard a female, and I thought it was my wife, say something to our son. It didn't seem like it was directed at me. That's the impression I got. I don't know what it was exactly said. So, I kind of get up. I was like, oh, okay. And I walk out, and she wasn't there. And I'm like, okay, well, and then I walk back down. I walk downstairs. And of course, in our house, if anybody's in the hallway, you're going to hear them walk down the steps. Like you're going to hear them walk. We've got some floorboards. We have hardwood floors, and there's a few creak spots. And, it's just, you're going to hear them. So anyways, I go downstairs, and, Terry Lynn sitting there at her little station, in the middle of resin and stuff, like working with stuff. And so I didn't say nothing to her. I was just kind of like, okay, whatever. Maybe I just, whatever. Well, then the next day I'm at work, and I get a phone call, and it's my son and my wife in the background. And he's just like, Dad, he's like, listen, he's like, I was in my room, and he's like, and look, anytime I hear the steps, he was, I always you know, like he's like, I know I had to clean my room. He's like, I thought mom was coming up the steps. So I started cleaning up my room. He's like, I heard her coming. He's like, I know that sound. He's like, it's ingrained in my head when you guys are coming up the steps, it's like ingrained, you know how you are when you're a kid, like, or was it the same night after you left for work? Yeah, but I thought you were. I thought this was like you were downstairs when I checked on you. Yeah, this was the day before when I checked on you and you were doing resin, and it was the next day when I was at work. So either way, it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't matter really the time frame, but the bottom line is that they called me, and so he said, like, look, I swear, mom was coming up the steps, but I went out there and she wasn't there. So like he knew for a fact, he had heard the steps. He knows what our sounds like. He knows how I walk up steps. He knows how she walks up steps. And I guess he said it was almost like a cross between the two, it was, but a little bit of a slower pace than what we normally go up the steps, but he heard them. He was for sure that he heard them and things like that. So that's kind of how we sort of started to confirm. And that's kind of when I also kind of confessed and said, okay, okay. Yeah, I was on hospital route when he called. That's right. So it was the same day. So that's right. I knew it wasn't like in the morning and I went to the day job. So you're right. It was in the evening when I heard the voice, and then I left for my second job. And that's when they called me when I was on my hospital route. So it wasn't the same night. So anyway, so now Terry Lynn kind of set some rules and was like, hey, my son needs to get some sleep. You need to leave him alone, whatever. And of course she changed out her water and everything, by her bed. And you know what I mean? We took our normal, like somewhat precautions, but we didn't necessarily try to kick her out. Again, we're assuming it's a her, may or may not be. It sounded like a female voice. But we're going to probably try to find out. So you guys can be a part of that tonight. All right. Anytime we do contacting sessions where we try to contact spirits, obviously we try to do, if you guys in the chat want to reach somebody, but tonight we're going to also try to reach the one in the house. Lindy, Night Owl Paranormal again. Hey, tweeted you're live. Hope it helps some. I'm a little channel, but I try. Loving this story. Thank you so much. But yes, this is a typical, I wouldn't say typical, but this type of event happens every so often. And again, Terry Lynn seems to get the brunt of it. They like to, mess with her the most. I think because they can it seems like they can kind of go right into part of her room, right there, like where her office and stuff is. And so I don't know. And her sensitivity and things like that. They love to try to get with her on that stuff. So, but yes. So anyways, we've had this happen a few other times, but I want to get into some contacting. I want to see if we can. I've got some energy, but I'm trying to hit my daily goal on my water. Stacy, what do you got to add in there?
As far as your scenario, it's the more you do this with the dowsing rods, the more this kind of stuff is going to happen. Because you're turning into a lighthouse. What's that? Oh, that's your water.
I get my daily goal. There was some fireworks, but it didn't come through in time. I get fireworks. All right. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So it comes down to you see them, they see you. The more you do the dowsing rods and tarot cards and things of that kind, they're going to be coming by because, well, you're their medium to, the living. And
right.
It's you're handling it right. I mean, some people get all freaked out. Zach would be like, "Oh my God, it's a demon! It's a demon!"
Well, and I think it's important for people that watch to understand that, there's sometimes when you're getting spirits and sometimes it may think you have a handle on them. Like maybe you did take somebody's advice and you were like, you know what? I'm going to lay down the law and I'm going to be firm and I'm going to be like, okay, spirits, you need to go, blah, blah, blah. Let's say you did kick out a ghost out of your house. but it doesn't mean that another spirit won't come back. Don't think it's the same one. Don't assume that all the time. You may be sensitive, and like you may not even know that, or maybe you suspect you're sensitive. We did have a case like that recently. So sometimes people know they're sensitive, but they don't understand why they keep getting haunted. Well, you know,
Yeah.
so remember that, keep that in mind. And if you're struggling with being haunted at different times, reach out to people like myself and Stacy, because we can help you manage that. A lot of people think you can just get rid of it. And sometimes you kind of can, but sometimes if you're sensitive, you're probably never going to change that. So you want to learn how to manage it. It's just like finding out that you have some kind of chronic thing. I don't want to call it a disease because I don't want to put a negative connotation on it, but it's like having a part of you that changes maybe, and you just have to learn and make adjustments and learn how to manage it and make it a part of your life and something that you can understand and manage, so you don't go crazy, as Stacy says. Like, it can drive people crazy.
Yeah, denial of the situation, keep trying to reaffirm what reality is. Eventually, you do lose grip of reality, because the harder you do that, the harder they push, and eventually you lose in the end, because they have the ability to totally disrupt whatever thing you've got going on. Now, you can ward your whole house, so your house itself is in a no-go zone. So, I mean, as far as that's concerned, you can, keep that safe from any kind of interference or hauntings of things like that. But as soon as you go out into the world, they're going to be there. So it's recognizing it is always to your benefit.
Okay, so we're going to get into some contacting here. I'm just, and I'd like to just share with you guys what I like to do. If you haven't seen any of my previous videos, I'm just sort of centering my energy. I don't like to have, because, I start off, I'm excited. I have this excited energy and sometimes a little manic, right? Your energy's a little hectic. So I want to kind of bring that down a little bit, control that energy. I like to reset my rods. I'm sort of wiping away that any previous energy, old attachment energy, just anything like that. I just like to reset the board, so to speak. Okay. So I'm just letting you know what I'm doing. Okay. If there's a spirit in this house, please come forward. We want to communicate with you, and we want to use these rods that I have in my hand. What you can do is just walk up and move these rods together. Let us know that you're here and that you want to communicate with us, please. So, spirit that's in our house, could you please come forward and move these rods together in the shape of an X? Let us know that you're here. Cross the rods, please. Okay, again, we're here to help you. We know that you're around, hanging around. So if you please could come forward, move the rods together so we can begin communicating with you, okay? Just cross the rods for yes. Let us know that. Cross the rods. Okay.
I think you're going to have to default to your guide.
Maybe. Sean, my spirit guide. Sean, are you here? Could you please cross the rods and let us know if you're here? All right. Thank you for that. Sean, you're always very reliable. Thank you so much. Sean, could you please straighten the rods back out for me? Thank you. Sean, is there a spirit that's been hanging around this house here lately? Can you please let us know? Cross the rods for yes, or leave them apart for no. Okay, thank you for that, Sean. So there has been a spirit hanging around here. Can you straighten the rods out? Okay. Straighten the rods. Sean, is this spirit, is this a male? Can you cross the rods for yes? All right. And Sean, is this spirit a female? Can you cross the rods for yes? Leave a part for no. Okay, thank you for that. All right, can you straighten the rods back out, please? Straighten the rods back out, please. Okay. Straighten the rods back out. Okay. All right, Sean, is this spirit can you find out, are they available to communicate with us? Can you please cross the rods and let us know that yes, that they're available to communicate? Okay. Thank you for that. So they are available. Thank you so much. Sean, could you please help them to communicate with us? Straighten the rods all the way back out, please. Okay. To the spirit that's in the home, the female, can you cross the rods now? Can you please show us that you're here and ready to talk right now? Thank you for that. Thank you so much for coming forward. All right. Thank you so much. Can you please straighten the rods back out, please? There you go. Thank you. Straighten them out all the way. Okay. Female spirit. Can I ask you, do you know one of us in this house, meaning Terry Lynn, me, or our son? Did you know us in real life or in when you were living real life? Did you know us when you were living? Can you cross the rods for yes? Leave a part for no. Were you related to any of us? Any of us three? Were you related to any of us three? Cross the rods for yes. Push apart for no. Okay. All right. Do you need help with something? Can you please cross the rods for yes? Leave a part for no. You do need help with something. Okay. Can you uncross the rods, please? Uncross the rods. Thank you for that. Can you do you need help crossing over? Can you please cross the rods for yes? Okay, no. Okay. Do you need help with are you trying to pass a message? Can you cross the rods for yes? Okay. Do you need help getting your story out? Maybe like are you trying to pass on your story to us? Can you cross the rods for yes? Leave a part for no. Hmm. All right. Well, let's move past that for now. Let's were you were you in an automobile accident? Can you cross the rods for yes? Leave a part for no. Okay. Did you die of natural causes? Can you cross the rods for yes? Okay. Were you murdered? Can you cross the rods for yes? Leave a part for no. Okay. So you were murdered. All right. Can you straighten the rods back out? Straighten the rods back out, please. Okay, you were murdered. Were you in this area right here in the Bristol, Tennessee, Bristol, Virginia area? Can you cross the rods for yes? Okay, so you definitely were local. So you're a local spirit. Hey, can you straighten the rods back out, please? Jason Corleen, is it Yorling or Yorlin? Sorry if I'm murdering your last name. Jason, greetings from Vancouver, Canada, and greetings from How Sound Paranormal or Howie Sound Paranormal. Uh, Greetings from Bristol, Tennessee, from us here at the Everything Paranormal Show. And
And
Stacy.
Louisiana.
Hi.
And Louisiana.
In Louisiana. So, all right. Okay. Is this Marley? Is your name Marley? You cross the rods for yes. Leave a part for no. No, that would have been pretty cool, honey. We had no. I mean, not cool as in like don't take it the wrong way, guys. When I say it would have been pretty cool that if it was Marley's, because Marley was a girl that we knew that supposedly committed suicide.
Harley.
But there's a lot of suspicion that she was murdered.
Harley.
Harley. Now I think her name was Marley, though. I think you were right the first time. But is your name Harley? Cross the rods for yes if your name's Harley. Okay. Okay. So you were murdered. Was this in the year? Was this in the 2000s for the year? Was this in the 2000s? Can you cross the rod for yes? Okay. All right. Why do we have a troll in the chat already?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. All right. Of course, you're going to troll when I can't even. All right, hold on. All right, hold on. I'm gonna have to break the communication session real quick. Okay. Don't be a troll, huh?
Looks like a bot.
Okay, I just blocked him. Sorry about that, folks. I didn't mean to interrupt that, but we had obviously a troll, which is very rare. Okay. Okay. The female I was just talking to, the female spirit that was murdered, can you please cross the rods? Let us know that you're still here, please. Cross the rods. Let us know you're still here. Oh, thank you. All right. Can you straighten the rods back out, please? Straighten them back out. Okay. Yeah, Terry Lynn is a mod for the YouTube channel, but since we're on StreamYard, sometimes it works kind of weird, and you have to pay a lot of extra money to have another. Like Stacy used to have more power, but I can't afford to keep paying that much money. So Stacy's back to just being just the normal co-host and not with extra powers. So anyways, okay, so we still have her with us. Okay, the person that murdered you, are they in jail? Have they been arrested? Can you cross the roster for yes? The person that murdered you, are they still alive? Can you cross the rods for yes? All right, thank you. Can you straighten the rods back out? Straighten the rods back out. Okay. Did you die in the 90s? In the 1990s? Can you cross the rods for yes? Leave a part for no? All right. So it looks like they were in the 90s. All right. Straighten the rods back out. Okay. Let's try to narrow this down. Was it in between 1990 and 1995? Can you cross the rods for yes? Leave a part for no. Okay. How about from 1996 to 1999? You please cross the rods for yes or leave a part for no. Okay. All right. So we're narrowing it down. Thank you for that. Can you straighten it back out, please? So you were murdered sometime in the late 90s. All right, let's go with can we do 96? Were you murdered in the year of 1996? Cross the rods for yes. Okay, I'm going to name off the years and you cross the rods when I get to the correct year. 1997. Okay, well, there you go. So 1997, she was murdered in, okay, straighten the rods back out. Now, were you murdered in Bristol on the Tennessee side? Cross the rods for yes. Bristol, Tennessee side. Okay, thank you for that. All right, so female murdered 1997, Bristol, Tennessee. Is that correct? Does that all sound accurate so far? You're female and you were murdered in Bristol, Tennessee in 1997. Can you cross the rods to confirm all that or leave a part for no? Okay. Thank you for that. Can you please straighten the rods out, please? Uh-oh. Terry Lynn's on double duty. She went to Facebook, too. She's on the troll hunting now. You better watch out, folks. She's going to get you now. All right. Sorry, I'm not trying to make light jokes while we're talking to a murder victim. I apologize.
Where were you in 97?
Me?
Yeah. Where were you living?
Florida. Like, I was in the military.
Okay.
So yeah. Wait. Were you accusing me of this? No, I'm just kidding. You're like, where were you? I don't know. Where were you? Did Stacy murder you? I'll ask her. God, if it crossed, yeah,
I was more interested in finding out what, as far as the house was concerned, uh, you know, was she murdered in the house?
Okay. Were you murdered in this house? Can you cross the rods for yes? Leave a part for no? Okay. All right. All right. Were you murdered in the downtown area? You cross the rods for yes? All right. Now let me ask you this. Let's try to maybe this can narrow something down. Were you in your 20s? Can you cross the rods for yes or leave a part for no? Oh, wow. Okay. So you're in your 20s. All right. Can you straighten the rods back out, please? Straighten the rods back out. Okay. Is your name okay, honey? You can't stomp before I get your text. She stomped like right as the thing popped in there. All right. Is your name Delphina? Can you cross the rods for yes? Leave a part for no. Is your name Delphina? Where did you get that name, honey? Okay, thank you for that. Straighten the rods back out, please. So your name is Delphina? Okay.
She just confirmed yes.
Yes. Thank you for that. Can you straighten the rods back out, please? Thank you, Delphina. Okay. Facebook user said, "Hey, Josh. Hey. Sorry, it doesn't show your name. I'm sure I know you." Terry Lynn said, "Oh my God." She said, "Wow."
Where'd that name come from? That's not a common name at all.
Was her whole family murdered?
Just said yes.
Okay. You straighten the rods back out. Okay. How many of your family were murdered? I'm going to say a number, and you cross the rods if you get to the right number. Was there 2 of you murdered? 3 of you? 4 of you? Okay. Straighten the rods back out, please. Okay. And were you in one of the neighborhoods that maybe starts with was you on a street that started like with from a state like Georgia or Pennsylvania? Was your street name, was it maybe a state? Can you please cross the rods for yes? See, we live near a section of the city that's right, kind of right outside, like some subdivision area that has a lot of state names. So, okay. All right. So so you were murdered. And again, I'm sorry to hear that. And the murderer is still alive. Did they arrest anybody for this? Says Johnson City when they stopped at a rest area on 81. Well, that could be this. We did confirm. It would be her name, and she said 4 people. So this is definitely her, and she's saying yes. All right, thank you for that. Can you straighten the rods back out, please? Thank you so much. The Lillian family consisted of the father, his wife Delphina, son Peter, who was 2 at the time, and Tabitha, who was 6. Okay. And she's saying yes. Okay, straighten the rods back out, please. Does she know who it was? Do you know who the killer was? Okay, when the person that murdered your family, you and your family, did you know them prior to the murder? Did you know them personally? Can you cross the rods for yes? Okay. Only 3 of the 6. There was 6 people involved. A restaurant, was it a trucker? Okay, straighten the rods back out. Was anyone involved? Were they a truck driver? Can you cross the rods for yes? Leave a part for no. Okay. So there was only 3 out of 6 convicted. Well, I really appreciate the research, Terry Lynn. Thank you so much for digging in. I mean, that's pretty wild that there really was something that happened in '97 with a female that was murdered in her family, and that we actually are talking is there 3 people that are responsible for your death? Is it 3 people that still need to face justice? Oh wow, that was like a hard yes there. Thank you for that. Straighten the rods back out, please. Okay.
Well, it looks like 2 of them were minors at the time. One was 14 years old, and the other one was 17.
Huh. Family was taken in their vehicle to Payne Hollow Lane. They're shot and left in a ditch. Oh my god. Is the main person responsible, the person that you want justice for? Excuse me, I'm adjusting my arms, folks. Are they still in the Bristol area? Can are they still in this area? Can you cross the rods for yes? Thank you for that. Can you straighten the rods back out, please? So they're saying that for sure the one person responsible that they want to see for justice for sure is still in this area. Does this person live near this home here? Can you let me know? Can you cross the rods for yes? Leave a part for no?
It says here they were from Pikeville, Kentucky. I don't know how close that is to you.
But they said yes to, I guess, I don't know if they're saying yes to you, Stacy, to the Pikeville, Kentucky. But they're saying one of the people is here in this area. So she needed help, I guess, just to get her. I guess it was in 97.
Yeah, April of 97.
Okay. Test her. Really, honey? How am I supposed to ask her what her son's name is? It's a yes no thing. Give random names.
Tabitha and Peter are their two names. The daughter's 6, Peter was 2.
Well,
Peter survived.
I mean, either way. All right, so have her spell the name letter by letter. Okay, so one second. So, all right, Delphina, I need you to do me a favor and stay here. Stay here. We're going to take a small break and stay right here, and we're going to resume communication. Okay, I'm gonna stop just for a small moment. Ooh. All right, so okay, I guys, my hands, like, because I try to just hold my hands in one place the whole time, and so my hands start to literally just between the energy and blood circulation, lack of, my hands just start getting numb and everything. So I had to take a small break. That was a long session. Okay, so we'll resume it here, folks. Now I know, like, it can be tempting, like I said, it's going to be hard to always to test them. Hello. Okay. Could be, or they maybe they believe that, when. Oh. Well, I'm just in this blind, so I don't really have no way of verifying anything. So, all right. So, anyways, I'm doing a break, is what I'm doing. So, just to let you know. So ICU, hi, way to pop in there. So we are doing some spirit contacting. So, but yes, folks. So we are getting ready to resume this in a second. Again, this was like a major session, so I'm trying to get all the blood flowing again and get some water here. All right. All right, so I think the most important thing to do at this point is that, we're not exactly sure if this is the real spirit or not. We don't know. Um, just because sometimes some of the details.
That's the neighbor across the street driving his Camaro as loud as he possibly could.
I was like, what the hell's that? It was like a
Yeah,
weird noise on my end.
we have a street that is like 50 yards long, and he has to hammer it going down the street. Uh,
So, anyways, so here's kind of the bottom line is the spirits here, so we need to sort of, now that we have this information, whether we can truly confirm this spirit or not. I think the most important thing is we can probably ask a few more questions, but ultimately the biggest thing is we just need to acknowledge it and send it on its way. Because a lot of spirits have stories. We're not always going to be able to solve these mysteries. Who knows? It may not even be the right spirit. Remember, they don't always, because we did confirm, as Terry Lynn pointed out, we did confirm that with her that there was a family of 4 murdered, but yet one of them survived. So really it was 3 that was murdered. So sometimes we get these details like this. Is this a spirit that's just lying to us or using that kind of situation? Possibly. So I'm not sure, or maybe that's.
well, she may not be aware that all 4 had actually passed.
They're like the one survived.
Right. She may not have been aware that 1 survived.
All right. I'm trying to make sure you guys can see the rods.
Her son would be like 24, 25 now.
Okay. Delphina, are you still here? Can you please cross these rods? Let us know that you're still here, please. Cross these rods. Okay, there you go. All right, probably have to build up some more energy again. All right, straighten the rods back out, please. Straighten the rods back out. Straighten the rods back out. Okay, so what I want to tell you is, Delphina, I want to say thank you so much for sharing your story. We appreciate you telling us this stuff, and we wish you well. We are going to be ending the session with you. And when we end the session, I want you to go where you came from. But unfortunately, you cannot stay here in this home with us. You need to move on. Okay. But you need to go back where you came from and you need to move on. Okay. So we're going to end this session. And thank you for sharing your story. Thank you so much. Okay. You're welcome. Thank you. All right. Straighten the rods back out. All right, remember, go back where you came from. Thank you. All right, so I just wanted to end that session, folks. Does she have a message? No, she didn't have a message. It was more of just, I think, sharing that story that, just maybe shedding light back on that. Because according to Terry Lynn, not everybody was convicted out of this group that, I guess, murdered this family. So who knows? It may have been a way to send a message out, because you never know who watches this show. I mean, you might end up having a detective from the police department. Some of these detectives, they watch stuff like this, and they may just be watching it for the fun of it. And he might be like, oh, yeah, I remember that case, blah, blah, blah. He may open the case back up and, like a cold case, and he may say, oh, hey, here's some new evidence that we can use. Who knows? So you just never know what could happen and maybe why spirits are telling the story. Spirits may be sharing this story because maybe somebody that watches this, maybe they learn something from this. They may learn something Chairman said all 6 then attempted to flee to Mexico, but were caught at the border. 2 days later, they were taken into custody. They were all brought back to Greene County, where they were tried as adults and convicted of murders. So, yes. But yes, so again, when you have a spirit that shares a story, you just never know really why they shared it. Again, it could be for somebody that's going to watch this video later, and who knows, maybe it'll be a warning to somebody else. You just never know. You never know. So it was nice that we had that story, and now we can have the spirit move on, just like we have with the other spirits in the past. All right. So if there's anybody in chat that would like to try to reach out to anybody, let me know. Okay. To my spirit guide, Sean, are you still here? Can you cross the rods for yes? Let us know that you're here. Thank you for that. Can you straighten the rods back out, please? And Sean, the female spirit that was here, can you confirm, has she left this home? Can you please cross the rods for yes? Okay. Thank you for that. You straighten the rods back out, please. And Sean, my grandfather, Walter Morris, is he available to communicate with? Can you please cross the rods for yes? Leave a part for no? Okay. I just thought I would ask. I was actually going to try to see if my grandfather was able to talk. Just had his birthday recently. Of course, he had passed last August of on our anniversary, and my grandma, him and my grandma, and me and Terry all share the same anniversary. So, and he had passed. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Sean, can you let us know, is there any other spirits in this home here that we didn't know about right now? Really? Okay. You straighten the rods back out, please. All right. And Sean, can you have that spirit come forward and communicate with us? Why would I want to ask that, honey? Great. Is he mad at me? But Sean, is there a spirit? Can you have that spirit come forward and communicate with us? Can you cross the rods and let us know when he's available, or the spirit's available to communicate with us? Okay. Can you straighten the rods back out, please? Okay. So yes, Terry Lynn, we have another spirit in this house too. We have another one. Okay. Spirit that's in this house with us, can you please cross the rods? Let us know that you're here, please, and ready to communicate. Can you please cross these rods together, please? Okay. Thank you for that. And can you please straighten the rods back out? Okay. All right. Are you a male? Can you please cross the rods for yes? Are you a female? Can you please cross the rods for yes? Okay, thank you. You please straighten the rods back out. There you go. Straighten them back out, please. All the way. The energy on this spirit feels a lot weaker, or more timid, I should say. Okay. Are you, so you're a female also. Are you Are you under the age of 20? Can you please cross the rods for yes? Okay. Are you in your 20s? Can you cross the rods for yes? Okay. Are you in your 30s? Please cross the rods for yes. Okay. How about 40s? Were you in your 40s? Can you cross the rods for yes? '50s? Can you cross the rods for yes? Are you in your 60s? We're getting up in age now. Can you cross the rods for yes? And 70s. Can you cross the rods? Were you in your 70s? Oh.
She may not have the strength right now.
Okay, let's try 80s. Were you in your 80s? Are you older? Are you older than in your 90s? Are you over the age of 90? Can you cross the rods for yes? Okay, so we're not really getting an answer on age. All right, do me a favor. Are you a child? Or let's just do this. Can you just do us a favor? Can you just cross these rods again? Can you show us that you're still here? Can you cross the rods for me, please? Okay. Thank you for that. Okay, so they are still here. So can you straighten the rods back out, please? Straighten them back out, please. There you go.
Yeah, maybe it was a little girl who followed her mom in. The little girl that was murdered.
Okay. Are you a child? Are you a kid? Can you cross the rods for yes? Leave a part for no?
Tabitha.
Is your name Tabitha? No. Okay. Do you know? Were you murdered? Did somebody harm you? Did they take your life? Could you please cross the rods and let us know for yes? If did they harm you like that? Okay. Did you pass away um, in an automobile accident? Okay. Hmm, did you pass away from natural causes like a heart attack or something medical?
Disease.
Okay. Thank you so much. Can you straighten those rods back out, please? Just straighten them back out for confirmation. Thank you for that. Was it some kind of disease? Did you die from a disease? Can you please cross the rods for yes? Leave a part for no? Okay. All right. Can you straighten the rods back out, please? Straighten them back out. All the way. Thank you very much. Now, did you need help with something? Like, do you let me just ask you this. Do you have a message for anybody? Can you yes for a message? Cross the rods? Okay. Do you need help crossing over? Can you cross the rods for yes? Do you need help with anything? Can you cross the rods and let us know? Do you need help with something? All right. Well, listen, I want to thank you very much for sharing your presence with us and letting us know that you're here. I do. I'm going to tell you, you can't stay here though. You have to move on. And we're going to end this communication session. Please go back where you came from. But again, you cannot stay here. Thank you so much. Ooh. All right. I had to take another break. There's like one session blended into another there, but
Yeah.
whew, but I always feel bad when spirits can't really share a lot of information about themselves sometimes, and or maybe they're not willing to, or maybe they just don't want to. It could be painful to reminisce and some of that stuff.
Yeah.
But at least we sort of moved on two spirits tonight. So I thought it was just going to be the one, but apparently there. And we'll check with Sean. We'll check with my spirit guide, and we'll make sure there's no other spirits hanging out in the house. Also, like maybe they're having some kind of ghost party, like Halloween party in our house.
The veil gets spin.
All right. Maybe the murdered child. Like I know we read that. Yeah, it's interesting. You can definitely get lost in some of the stories and possibly tie them together. Again, like I would take in some of what Terry Lynn was saying. Like you got to kind of listen to the stories from a spirit. And I've always said this, and this is something that Terry Lynn's also on the same wavelength of tonight, is you still got to be skeptical. Like it sounds great. And like Terry Lynn did the research on the side and found something that matched up really well. But again, you kind of got to still be a little skeptical. And sometimes spirits are a little cloudy on the details. So you always got to think of that too. So anyways, so just keep all that in mind. Again, did we really talk to Delphina, who was murdered at that Rust area? Who knows? I'd like to think so. I'd like to think that she wanted to share her story and wanted to get it out there. So who knows? Like I said, I never know where this is going to go. Like that's the crazy thing, is sometimes you're expecting one thing and it leads you somewhere else, and half the time I always keep thinking we're going to get visited by our relatives, because it has happened. We have been visited by one of Terry Lynn's grandmothers and one of her ex-husbands as well. So we were able to deal with that. And, like I said, we always try to acknowledge all the spirits that come through here. We try to treat all of them with respect, listen to what they have to say, and then, have them move on. We don't want to keep them lingering around the house. So it's like, just got to go. Acknowledge and send on the way. So, anybody have any questions right now? We're going to probably do a little more stuff, obviously. Okay. But if any of you all have somebody you want to try to reach, let me know. I actually was going to try to reach my grandfather, but again, sometimes spirits aren't always available to talk. I don't know. My grandfather may not he may not want to talk to me right now. So, and he's probably watching over my grandma who's still alive. So they very much were, and he really, loved her very much and did a lot of things for her. Like just all the little things that, old men do for their wives and stuff, and filling up her bird feeders and maintaining things and, all that kind of cute stuff. So I'm sure he's overlooking her and keep an eye on her and waiting around, Okay, why are you stomping? You can't stomp. She's premature. She stomps like, hey, you didn't read my comment, but the comment didn't pop through yet. Shut up. See, Terry Lynn wants me to do always like the things to get me in trouble. She does. Tell the story. That's not the story. That's not I'm not supposed to tell that story because there's relatives alive that would now know the lie. Duh. She's like, tell the story. It wasn't a deer. Why would I tell it? It's dumb. It's not even a good story. So, anyways, Terrell wants me to tell the story because apparently none of my relatives probably even watch my show anyways. So I had kind of a dark secret. Not a dark secret, but I had a secret. So if you all want to hear a secret, they don't watch you. I know, see, but still, you're having me, expose myself here with my secret. No, it's not a juicy one. So when I was 16, I was leaving work, and one of my first jobs was like many people back in the day. I worked at McDonald's, at one time, right? 16, working at McDonald's. In fact, I had just got my driver's license. I was maybe a month into my driver's license, I think. That's right. It was in November. And anyways, so I'm leaving. I'm on my way home. And of course, if you work at McDonald's, a lot of times you make yourself like a caramel sundae or something fun, take home. And I had one in my seat. And in my car back then, I had a CB, breaker, whatnot. I had a CB. And so there's this out in the country, there's like this 4-way stop, and you can kind of see, so you don't really stop. Like you just kind of go through it. So I kind of blew through this thing, and I'm kind of going about, I don't know, close to 55, not too far after the stop sign. And I reach down and I'm messing with the CB. And back then I definitely did not have the skills to be multitasking and driving. So my car started to drift off the road. And it was those, where there was really like hardly any shoulder at all. It just dropped down to a ditch. So as soon as my car started drifting off the road, it pretty much just got sucked right down into the ditch. And my car hit one of those farm driveways. Like a driveway that just goes into a field. So my car hits the driveway and it goes airborne, goes over, lands kind of nose down and breaks the car in half, like bends the frame, breaks the car in half. My hockey stick, because yes, hockey, right? I'm a northerner. I was, south of Detroit. So my hockey stick was like in my lap. So it must have went through my neck. I'm just kidding. But it was in my lap. Of course, my caramel sundae was on the ground. I was disappointed about that. My CB wasn't working. I was hurting. I was wearing my seatbelt, thank God. And everything was just crazy. So I walked to this old lady's house, and she was, again, out in the country. So I knock on the door. Luckily, she finally comes to the door. She won't open it. So that's something she did right even back then. She wouldn't open the door. And she was hard of hearing. So I'm trying to yell at her my phone number back home to my grandparents. Because this is late at night. We're talking midnight or whatever. I don't even know. So she's like, what's the phone number? I'll call them 654. She's like, 829. I'm like, no, 654. She's like, 218. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's not even close. And I'm like, I tell her the number, and she stops trying to repeat it through the door. And I'm like, she just disappears. And I'm going, there's no way she's going to get this right. Well, apparently she did. She's like, I talked to your grandpa, and he's going to come. He's going to be on his way. I'm like, okay, thank you. Well, I go back out, and then an ambulance shows up, and they put me on a board, and they the stretch are kind of the board one, the one that like it hurts your head though because it's you get that like I don't know, you can't really adjust your head because now they got you strapped down. So like I was getting a stinging in the back of my head from my hair, and I'm like, duh, this sucks. And so yeah, so they were like, and the state trooper was there, and they're just like, what happened? I'm like, I don't know. Like I left the intersection, and there was like a deer that ran out in front of me, and so I tried to avoid the deer, and I just got sucked right off into the ditch because I didn't want to tell him like, I was messing with my CB, and not only that, like, but then even the state trooper's like, you must have been having some speed to go airborne over that, to hit all that. The intersection's right there. I said, well, it's a fast car. I'm 16. It's got the V8. I did stomp on the gas after I stopped at the stop sign legally. So, yeah. Of course, they ran me through the questions as they had me in the ambulance, and they ran me through all the questions. Who was the president and all that stuff. And of course I got everything right, but they were just standard procedure. So anyway, so I've harbored this secret for the longest time in my life, always about that, maintained that it was a deer because they did find deer tracks. Of course, we're out in Michigan in November. Deer's everywhere. So especially fields out in the country areas. So they found deer tracks, but in any case, that was kind of this dark secret until I met Terry Lynn, years later, and shared some of those secrets that I said I never wanted to be exposed, right? Because, you're with your wife and you like to tell her secrets that, only they will know, and secrets you'll never tell publicly until that wife breaks her trust and makes you tell this story to everybody. So, anyways, I got to pick on you back, honey. So she's like, Grandpa knows there was no deer at all. This is a paranormal stuff, like the full Monty at Denny's. Why do you want to tell all my stuff? You see, this is a paranormal show, not Josh's confessions. She's like, Josh, tell another awkward story. No. Anyways, those are all drunk stories. Anyways, those were stories of my drinking days. So those are, I have an excuse. It's called I was stupid and drunk. So anyways, folks. All right. So let's try to get back to some spirit communication real quick because we are winding down to the back part of the show. We usually try not to go too much over an hour and a half. So, all right. Before Terrelyn has me telling all my dirty secrets. Anyways, let's share yours. I'm telling some of your stories. All right. Let's do some more spirit communication. Now, hopefully, I'll be in the right mind for this. All right. Anything I can do to make you uncomfortable? Yes, thanks for the support, dear. All right. Okay. Sean, are you here? Can you please cross the rods? Let us know if you're here. Thank you for that. It's a little slower than usual, but thank you. You straighten the rods out, please. Sean's probably like, I was laughing. I'm sitting here laughing about your story. Okay, Sean, can you tell us, is there any other spirits left in the house that we need to address? Can you please cross the rods for yes? Leave a part for no. All right. This house is cleansed. All right. So we acknowledged the two spirits we had and sent them on. Okay. That's great. All right. Let's see. Okay. I was just looking to see if you guys needed to talk to anybody. If you guys need to talk to anybody, let me know. Sean, do you know? I know we've talked a little bit about some world politics in the past, but is gas prices going to get any better in the next in 4 months? Can you please cross the rods for yes?
I could have told you that.
Well, I just thought I'd ask. Jeez. Of course, Sean's pushing apart the rods. Look, he's probably saying the same thing. Like, yeah, dumbass. Like, that's dumb. All right. Thank you for that point. Can straighten the rods back out. All right. I wonder if we will have a hung election in November.
Nope.
ICU wants to know, Sean, are we going to have a hung election in November? Can you cross the rods for yes, leave a part for no? All right. All right. Is the GOP going to take control after the midterms? Can you verify? Can you cross the rods for yes, leave a part for no? Okay. I truly hope so, Sean. So much for that rumor. Can you straighten the rods back out? All right. All right. Will the war in Ukraine end this year? Can you cross the rods for yes? Or conflict? Will it end this year? All right. Will there be any kind of nuclear weapon used on the United States this year? You cross the rods for yes. Okay. Will Zelensky step down this year? You cross the rods for yes. Do you know the answer to that question? Can you just let us know? Do you know the answer to that question? Can you cross the rods for yes? All right. So Sean doesn't even know if the answer to that question, ICU, anyways. So again, don't take these answers 100%. Sean, I think, gives us his opinion really on some of this stuff because I'm not sure. Like I said, so I figured we'd ask. Since I figured we'd ask since we had Sean, here, my spirit guide. Okay, well we'll go ahead and Sean, we're going to end the session. I don't think anybody needs to talk with anybody tonight. We've dealt with everything. So thank you again, Sean, for helping me as usual. And again, we're going to end the communication session, and you can go back to what you normally do. All right, thank you. All right. So there you go, folks. You got a chance to witness me addressing a few spirits in your home. Stacy, obviously we just went through kind of that communication process, but what's a few things that people can do, like just, and because I know we've talked about this in other shows, but a lot of times people don't always walk backwards, and watch our shows. So again, we want to state some of the same things, but what's some of the things that people can do in this kind of situation? Like if they want to do what I just did, like address them and move on, like what kind of advice do you have for these type of situations?
Well, you mean with dowsing rods or just
with people getting like a spirit in their house and, maybe they want to do like this. Maybe they want to communicate and address it? Like, what's some of the things that they can kind of do to manage their household?
Well, if you don't have dowsing rods or the skill in order to, work with those sorts of things, you can just talk, and the spirit will, respond, not necessarily in the moment because it doesn't may not have that ability. Um, but if you are concerned for, hauntings, things of that kind, you can just talk to the spirit like you were talking to an adult. You know, you don't have to get all, witchcrafty and talk in rhyme and, all this other kind of stuff like you're casting a spell. You can just talk like you would normally talk to a normal person and ask that spirit to leave. Sometimes you get one that is uh, stubborn and is mischievous or whatever, and refuses to leave. In that case, then you can actually banish them through. There's a lot of different ways, and
Well, I want to add on that real quick. And I want to just, because when you say that, when you talk about talking to spirits, I think what's important for people to understand, because you were talking about stubborn spirits. So I just wanted to expand on that real quick. And so sometimes it's about the intent. Like when I say things to spirits, they know that I mean it. There's an intention to it. Like, and the best way I can ever put it is, if you're a parent, or even if you're not a parent, but you've been around parents, maybe your own parents,
mm,
but in a lot of parents' life, at some point, kids test you, right? And like, you've all seen it. You've all either seen it, been there, or maybe yourself. But that moment when you're telling your kid, "Hey, clean up your room," or "Hey, quit doing this, quit doing this," and they're just kind of like, and he's like, "Quit doing this. Hey, stop it." Then there's that moment when the parent flips, right? They're all of a sudden they're just like this. I said, "Stop it now." And all
mhm.
of a sudden the kid's like, "Okay." Like, there's that moment. And I'm not saying you have to be mean or aggressive, but there's just that moment when that parent, it just, what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's that moment when they say it. They may have said it 3 other times, but there's this moment when they mean it and
Hmm.
they have every intention behind it. Okay, so I just like to use that analogy because, again, like what Stacy was talking about, with sometimes you get these stubborn spirits. Well, sometimes it's the way you're talking to them, and you like, "Hey, can you please leave?" and blah blah blah. Like, you may not have that conviction behind you. So, anyways, go ahead, Stacy. Sorry, I just wanted to make
Yeah,
sure point that out.
that really is what it comes down to, as far as like the conviction is concerned, and even on the parent level, you can tell, kids who were raised by bad parents that don't have that they continually try and test people with the same stuff and they were never put in their place. The kids that were put in timeout, they're the ones that stop dead naming me. You are misgendering me and dead naming me. You are such a beast. Okay, they had bad parents. The parent did not put their foot down and say, "No, you're a boy. You're not a little girl. Stop it." That kind of thing. You have that kind of conviction in telling spirits, that you have to leave, as you would a child, but as an adult. You know, you don't have to be mean about it,
Right.
but at the same time, you have to be firm, and that's really what it comes down to. Even still, you'll come across a spirit every now and then that still refuses to leave, or they'll go into hiding, hoping that you just don't realize they're hiding in the shadows or hiding in the corner. In that kind of scenario, you can banish them with, well, the easiest is actually camphor. It's cheap, it's easy, it gets rid of all spirits in the house. Camphor is the stuff that's in Hall's Mentholyptus, the cough drops. It has that Vicks vapor rub kind of smell to it, and it makes your eyes water and burn. They have them in tablets. They're like 5 in a tablet. You can buy them at Walmart for like $1.75. and you drop a tablet in boiling water, it sinks up the whole house, smells like medicine or a hospital or whatever. It
Right.
actually kills any kind of a virus or bacteria that's in the air. So if you've got the flu that's running around and you don't want to catch the flu, you can fumigate your house with this stuff and it'll kill the viruses that are floating in your air. It's an actual thing. So,
Right.
but spirits hate it. They hate all of that, the stinky stuff that is, you know, the brown sage is the same way. It smells like ass, but it gets rid of the spirits out of the house, and at that point you can, you know, shut it down, letting any more spirits come in. But uh, brown sage, it's hard to come by. Um, Camphor is real easy to come by, and it works and actually makes the house healthy too. So, but warding off your house from being re-entered, there's a lot of different ways you can do that with bay leaves. You can, write little prayers, book of Psalms, on a bay leaf and leave it by the front door, and it acts as a ward from spirits coming in the door that way. The problem is that the bay leaf doesn't last very long. You can
Right.
swept away or whatever it is, but the spirit, once it leaves, can't re-enter. Um, my tried and true is actually railroad spikes. You put railroad spikes on the corners of your property. It creates a fenced barrier, like an invisible fence for your dog. It does the same kind of thing with spirits. They can't cross that barrier. Once you know, put a prayer on those spikes, you nail them in the ground. They don't have to be sticking out of the ground. They can be actually, below the grass line, so nobody knows they're there. But
Right.
it creates that invisible fence, and your whole house is warded off. Once the house is clear, you're good. You're good to go.
Now, Terry Lynn said that she wishes you would have told us that before with the camphor tablets. But I do say, I think he, in all fairness, I do believe he did mention this before, but it has been a while.
Yeah.
I want to say it was something he mentioned quite a while back on one of our shows, because I think I remember him talking about boiling those in the house and things like that. But it's been a long time, so I don't always remember some of those things either. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely something we'll have to remember for purifying our air, so to speak. With disinfecting our air, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. I mean, for COVID, it works awesome. When the flu is running around, it works awesome. You can keep that stuff out of your house, and reinfecting. If somebody gets it in the house, it'll keep other people in your house from being infected, simply because you're not coughing, and it really does kill it in the air before it gets to somebody else. So
Now, I want to take a moment before we wrap up because we're about to end the show. So, guys, bear with me a few more minutes. And remember, Paranormal Underground Magazine right here that you see above me. Go check them out. You can get a year for free just by mentioning my name. Email them. Like I said, you'll get a magazine every first of the month digitally through your email, and it's illustrated. It's got amazing stories. It's a great magazine. In fact, if Cheryl Knight, the owner, is watching, I need to send you a new advertisement to put in there, because the one that's in there is like old, and I need to send like a newer one. Maybe change it up every once in a while. I'm sure people that have been watching the magazine for the last years probably been like, "Oh yeah, same old ad." We need to change that up, so I need to send her something else. Also, as Terry Lynn pointed out, I'm going to be picking back up on, I think, part 3 of Madison, the scary game that I've been playing. It's sort of a puzzle type game. I'm like playing this possessed teenager type boy or something that maybe I murdered my family. I don't know, but I'm slowly getting possessed and trying to solve these puzzles, and it's been fucking scary. So yeah, so I'm gonna be doing that soon. probably I'll take a small break after this. So probably around like 12 o'clock time frame in about an hour. So if you want to come back and watch me play a scary game, you can do that. Also, but again, I want to let you guys know that if you're wanting to learn about remote viewing and things like that, guys, go check out Stacy's Udemy courses. There's a link that's down below. If you don't see the link, just go to udemy.com and you can always type in Stacy Talich, like the name he has on the screen. In fact, I probably could have brought you back up there. So Stacy Talich there. Look him up on Udemy. He's got a ton of courses. Go check him out. Also, if you guys love scary stuff, if you like paranormal, like ghost hunting, Paraflix. Go check out Paraflix. Guys, it's like $4 a month or something like that, $4 or $5 a month. And I, have an original show on there, Para Explorers. I release my episodes like one a year. So probably in the next 8 years, you'll get through season 1. So I'm not joking. I do like one episode a year. I did episode 1 last year, did episode 2 this year. Next year, maybe we'll do 3. So, but no, we'll get there. We'll get there. We're making some changes where we're getting some more film schedule here soon. So we'll be able to accommodate everything a little more on that. But guys, go check out Paraflix. And again, as always with this show, remember, we're going to be doing more. Please like, share, subscribe, help us continue to grow this channel. Also, the TikTok. If you guys like TikTok, come see me on TikTok. I believe that it's called Tep's Ghost Hunting. I'll have to double check real quick because I forgot I had it set for something else. And then I had to change it. Yeah, Tep's Ghost Hunting. So if you go to TikTok at Tep's Ghost Hunting, come and follow us. Again, I'm going to be I've got a bunch of little shorts on there and stuff like that, little scary things that we're going to be doing there, or creepy videos. And hopefully the goal there is if we can get 1,000 followers on TikTok, we're going to do some live investigation stuff on TikTok. Because I can't do live on YouTube because of their stupid policies and having to have X amount of watch hours. So unless all of you start just jacking up my watch time or something and start binge watching all my stuff, we're not going to get monetized, and I can't get live on YouTube yet. So TikTok might be the next way to go for us with live investigations out in the field where you guys can come and join me live. I did some lives before, but actually doing some live investigating, and you guys can see some different experiments, walk through some of these places. So anyways, guys, Stacy, do you have anything you wanted to throw out there? I know we covered your courses and everything. Do you have anything you wanted to add?
No, we did all of that, and it's all. We got to think of something for next week. Next week's the Halloween Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to get out this weekend. I wanted to get out. I don't know. Terry Lynn and I have been talking about it, but episode 2 from Para Explorers, we filmed at the damn Haunted Woods. Well, now they have their haunted house going. Uh-huh. And I know that the owner, Star, has been wanting us to come out there. So I'm not sure if we're going to go out there and sell like some of our stuff. We have some spirit boards we've been working on. We've got some. I gotta say, like, Terry Lynn has really been killing it on the boards. She's really working hard. We came up. We kind of collabed a little bit together, but for the most part, she really wanted to do this Maleficent kind of theme. Mm-hmm. If anybody's seen, the old Sleeping Beauty, of course, the evil queen from Snow White. But Maleficent, we had done, ghost tour tomorrow night. Yeah, we might even try to do that. We may try to do the ghost tour. I don't know if it's tomorrow or it's definitely the weekend. I guess maybe it might be Friday night. Maybe, I don't know. I have I have to work, but we may be able to do it before work or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. East Hill Cemetery. We'll figure that out for sure. The East Hill Cemetery, they do an annual ghost walk type thing, and what's really cool is like it's like $5, but it goes to the Sons of the Confederate here in Bristol, Tennessee, and they maintain East Hill Cemetery, so they're not really profiting off it. It's not that type of. It's just one type thing. But what's so cool is like they will dress up in character, and they'll have like I don't know 4 or 5 different characters in the cemetery, and they tell a story. So you go in these groups, and so they lead the group to this person in costume, and then he tells his story. He tells, or he or she, they tell their story, and it's usually obviously somebody here in the local area. They talk about like the being the first resident or whatever. But it's really cool. So it's like living history, like you're talking from a ghost. So it's really cool. They do such a fantastic job. I really can't say enough about them. So I'm glad Terry Lynn brought that up, because if you're in the Bristol, Tennessee area this weekend, like I think Friday and Saturday, I think is when they did, maybe Sunday. But if you're definitely in the Bristol, Tennessee area in the next couple of days, you need to go to that ghost walk at East Hill Cemetery. It's only $5 a person, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it. But yeah, and like I said, we may try to get out to the dam this weekend, and at least try to go live, maybe go through their haunted experience. But then yes, as we get to Halloween show, because you said, what was it like? So it's going to be like the 27th, like right before Halloween.
Yeah.
So we may also do one thing that I always try to do annually is go through the history of Halloween. And I actually came through my notes. I actually found them the other day of all my notes of how did Halloween evolve? So a lot of people don't always know that story of, they think, oh, it came from this thing, it came from this thing. Well, in truth, Halloween is more of an evolution, and it came from multiple things and multiple stages of evolution throughout the many years. So again, we're all going all the way back to the Samhain Festival. It's not pronounced Samhain Festival, by the way, folks, in case you see. But anyways, goes all the way back to the Celts and everything. There's little things that all kind of came together to the Halloween that we know today. So I do like to cover that in an episode. So we may do that next week and really get into how Halloween came to fruition as we know it. Maybe you'll learn something. So in any case, folks, we'll see you next week right before Halloween. Or maybe if you do see a live pop up, hop in there, say hi, click like, share it. So we'll see you next week, folks. And remember, seek the truth.
Peace.